Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. In today's video we are thrifting in Value Village. It was my first time here in quite some time, so I was very excited to be back. So I wasn't really seeing too much of interest in the photo picture section, but I did spot this picture of Judy Garland. It's from one of my favorite old movies called Summer Stock. She's performing the song Get Happy. And so I kind of really wanted to get it, so I ended up putting it in the cart, but I did think it was overpriced at $10, but I just wanted to think about it, so I just put it in the cart. Sometimes I'll think, oh, maybe I'll get that, and I don't take it with me, and then I forget about it later until I'm recording a voiceover and I see things. I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot to go back and get that, so that's my new strategy. So then right after that, I noticed that they actually had a literal cereal box framed for sale. Like, is that what the thrift stores are coming to now? It's crazy. I thought this plaque was super cute. It looks very 1980s to me. Didn't really have anything of note in the furniture section, but so I didn't really film anything over there, but I do like to take a quick look through the lighting section, because you never know, you might find something cool, like a vintage lamp or something. Not that I necessarily need that, but it's always fun to take a look. Anyway, I did end up seeing a lamp that I really liked. It's not vintage, but I did really like it. I think it would fit in with vintage things, even though it's not. I think, yeah, it's right here, this blue lamp. I just really love that. I feel like a lot of lamps, like vintage lamps, kind of had that style, so that's why it reminded me of it, but it looked new to me at the same time. So I did think it was a really pretty shade of blue. It's just not my style in my house. The other side of the lamp aisle is like technology, like electronics, and I just love looking at the old technology. I'm always hopeful that I will find an old style computer monitor. I want one so bad, but I just never see them anywhere, and then I guess you'd have to like figure out if it was still working or not. I think I would need to find somebody who like knows how to build computers that could maybe get me all of the parts that I would need, but we do have still sealed in the box Windows 95 keyboards for sale on eBay, but I think we have like 3 or 4 of them, so if I found other parts of a vintage computer, I would probably just take one of those for myself. It just gives me a lot of nostalgia, and I would really like to have one. So one thing that I noticed about this trip, which I have been thrifting since the early 90s, so like over 30 years, and I have never seen the shelves so empty as I had during this week, and especially in Value Village. Like, I don't ever recall ever seeing the shelves this empty. And I'm not just talking about this specific store. I'm talking about like all of the Value Villages I've shopped at in 30 years. So yeah, it's really interesting. I think it's interesting to me because it's during a time when people are complaining about high prices. So it's interesting that the shelves would be so empty, but I think, and some other people have also said this, and John and I had talked about it, I think that people probably are not donating as much. Like, I think John said this documentary has been released about thrift stores. I don't know if it's specifically about Value Village or not. I didn't watch it, and I don't know how recent it is, but he was telling me about it recently. So I don't know if that has contributed to it, but, or people maybe just saving things for the yard sale season. I don't know. But like I said, I've been doing this for 30 years. Like, it's weird to me that I've never seen it this bad before. So it was pretty interesting, and a little disappointing, I guess, because like I said, I hadn't been thrifting in quite some time, so I was really excited. I did find some things though for myself, and we did find a few things to resell, so it wasn't like a total loss or anything, but I always get really excited on the way to the thrift store because we have to drive so far. We have like an hour drive to kind of get hyped up for it, so it was a little bit disappointing, but I don't know. It's just the way things are now. I think I've mentioned this before, but whenever I see it, because I see it quite a bit, but this wax warmer, my mom had the exact same one in her kitchen. Her whole kitchen was like apples, apple things. So whenever I see it, I think about her. And then I spotted this party light. It's like a candle company. It's kind of like Tupperware, but candles. But my mom used to sell Party Light for a little while in the 90s as well. So I just thought I would take a look and see what it was. It wasn't anything interesting. Sometimes they would come out with really cool looking ones. I used to have one that was like a pyramid shape with stars cut out. So if you were like in a dark room, it would shine the stars on the wall. I wish that I kept it. I did see it one time, the same one when I was thrifting, and that was one of those things where I was like, well, I'll just think about it. And then I never went back and ended up getting it and completely forgot about it until I was watching the footage I had filmed. So I've developed a new strategy for that. And then I came across one of those chip and dip sets that I showed in my serveware collection video from a few videos ago. And I mentioned in that video that I see these all the time, and that's definitely true. They're usually between like $5 to $10, so, but they usually are missing the piece, unless maybe it's in an antique store. Maybe it has the connector piece, but I don't know. I don't know if it's just my area, but I see them all the time. Sometimes people say they wish they could find them, but I've always seen them. Like, pretty much every time I go out thrifting, I'll see at least one version. So I'm in the like picture frame photo album and then office supply aisle. I don't usually spend that much time in here, just take a quick kind of breeze through. And then I saw something so epic, and it's this Titanic picture frame that somebody put a picture of Leo in. This made my freaking day. I was laughing so hard in the aisle. It was so funny. I think this might be like a vintage lap desk because it's all made from like wood and not plastic. But so I was briefly considering it, but I was like, do I actually need this or would I use it? So ultimately, I decided not to get it. I've been trying to collect things to make a gallery wall for a while now, and I have a few things, but I kind of wish I would have got this cat to add to it. It's the only thing that I wanted in the whole thing, but I don't know. I was like, do I need it? I don't want to buy them all. But looking back on it now, it would have been really cute, and it's very my personality because I love cats. Side note, I don't think I've shared this before, but this section with all the bagged things is actually my favorite section to look at in thrift stores, well, in Value Village. But I never actually really look at it anymore because I feel like it's not a good thing to film. Like, it's hard to film. And so I usually don't even look anymore because I'm always filming when I'm thrifting. So I don't know. I did thrift this year a couple times and not film, and I took like a long time to look through everything, and it was so nice. When I got to this section with the glasses is when it really hit me just how empty the shelves were. Like, when the knickknack section, it was pretty bad, but I was like, well, I don't know, maybe, I don't know what I was thinking. But then when I got here and I could see like this huge empty spaces, like clearly they had just pushed together whatever was left, I guess, like to make room for new stuff maybe, but it just made it look really empty. And then I noticed in some other aisles they had everything spread out really far to make it look fuller than it actually was or usually is. We did end up buying this big Newfoundland mug to resell. Just thought it was like interesting and unique, and that's like another one of the Atlantic provinces, so there's a lot of people in the like where we live that either like has family there or maybe they used to live there. We've sold some similar stuff like that on Marketplace with like kind of local-ish themes. But then I saw these mugs, which I almost got as well. These like A&W mugs. They look exactly like the ones that we actually used in the restaurant because I used to work there. And John actually used to work there too at like a different one. So I was like, oh, these would be really fun to have. So I put them in the cart because I thought I was going to get them, but I ended up not getting them because the inside was really like beat up and just, I wasn't feeling it. I saw these Corelle mugs. I've never seen this pattern before, but I definitely don't need any more mugs. I just posted like last week, I think, my kitchen declutter, but there's a part 2, and I haven't edited yet, but it's like of the cupboards and like my dishes and stuff and me going through that. So when I post that, you'll see I don't need any more mugs. And then there's some John in the Wild shots here. I was wondering if he would notice, and he did notice at the end that I was filming him. These bowls right here are the perfect example of when I talk about people who say things are vintage that aren't actually vintage. Those bowls look like maybe they might be vintage because of the pattern and color, but they're actually for sale in our dollar store in like 2016. So, but I see actually a lot of things from our dollar store, like online, listed as being vintage, and it cracks me up every time. I thought those plates might have been Corelle, but they didn't say Corelle on them, so maybe not. I thought this plate was really pretty. When I was turning the cart around to go down the other side of the aisle, these dishes caught my eye because they're so different and unique looking. I've never seen this before, but if I didn't already have like dishes that I loved, I might be tempted to get these because I feel like they would kind of go with my kitchen. Like I wouldn't care if they were actually vintage or not. I just think they're really pretty. They're very like my vibe. And then right after that, I spotted this cute set. I'm not sure how old this is or not, but my grandma used to have something very similar for like holding your cooking utensils. Except he was like a chef, I think, like a little chef hat and that was in the probably late 70s, early 80s. I would have actually got that to resell that set because I think it's cute, but I felt like $7.99 was too much money, like that I realistically wouldn't be able to make enough money on it to justify the work I'd have to do to put it online to sell. I feel like I always see Florida stuff in thrift shops, like more than any other state. And I wonder if it's because a lot of Canadians, like when they're retired, like go to Florida, like for half the year. They call them snowbirds. But I think Florida is mostly where people go. Like I know a lot of people who did that or do that. I really loved this orange platter, but like I definitely don't need any more, but I did really like that, but I'm able to like restrain myself. However, I did see this, which it's not vintage, and it's made from plastic, but I've been looking for something like this made from wood for probably a year and a half now, and this is like the closest thing to it, so I did decide to get that. I noticed this recipe box from McCall's, but they had it taped up so I couldn't flip through. I was thinking I could flip through the cards, but they had it all taped up, which I guess makes sense because they don't want someone like taking all those out. But I have the avocado Betty Crocker version of that, which I love. So I actually almost thought we were going to make it out without seeing an as seen on TV, and then I spotted this. Of course, it's something to do with eggs. I honestly don't understand the malfunction with eggs that people must have. I will say seasoning the eggs before cooking them is a valid thing, but this is not easier than just putting eggs in a pot to boil, like having to crack every egg open and put it in a container and then close the container. I'm sorry, that is not easier. It is not hard to peel an egg. If you have the ability to individually crack every egg, put it into a plastic container and seal the container up, you can peel an egg. I'm sorry, you can peel an egg. There's so much vintage Tupperware in this aisle this time, but this glass I thought was so cute. And then I noticed these Tupperware glasses next to it. I have not seen these that I recall in like years and years, but we had these same glasses in my house growing up, and so they gave me major nostalgia. I think the ones that we had were different colors than this, but we had this version and then there was a taller version as well, and I'm pretty sure my grandma still has some in her cupboard, so maybe that's probably the last time I saw them was at her house, so it was very nostalgic to see those. I thought these tiny little casseroles were super cute too, but in my kitchen declutter part 2, I clean out like underneath like my stove drawer and all of my like bakeware and stuff, and so when you see that, you'll see I don't need anything else. And then I saw this quiche recipe plate, like the pie ones, and I was like, you know what, I should get that, but looking at the price of it, I was like, oh, I don't know. And then I noticed there was another one right next to it, but then I noticed they were both different prices, which is hilarious. And so I was debating on whether or not I should get it. I've been wanting to make quiche for a few months now, and I was thinking, oh, I could make this into like a video or maybe just have it in a vlog, but I could make this recipe. So I was debating it, and then I thought, well, I'll get the one that's cheaper, because clearly, but I still felt like it was too much money for what it was. But I was like, well, I'll use it in a video and whatever. It was like I was justifying it to myself. So I just kept on looking, and then I noticed this Spice of Life piece. I already have this one. I was actually shocked that it was not more money, like, because lately things have been kind of crazy, and so I just kept on going along my merry little way here. And then I noticed the exact same thing, but just on a small plate, recipe and all. So I immediately was like, okay, I'll much rather pay $3.99 for this, and I'll just put the pie thing back. I have lots of pie. Like, I keep wanting to say pie shells. I have lots of pie like plates to bake at home, so I just go ahead and get the plate, and then I can just eat the quiche off the plate, but it's the same recipe, so we'll do that and save myself a few dollars. I spotted this coffee maker. This looks very 90s to me. Maybe it's earlier than that, but I just thought it was so cute and little. I think I mention this every time I see one of these, but like 20 years ago when I worked at this department store, they were selling a bunch of this stuff, and I wanted it so bad back then. I never ended up getting it, so sometimes when I see it, I think about it, but it's one of those appliances that would take up a lot of space and barely get used. So it's probably for the best that I didn't buy it, because I probably would have donated it a long time ago. I spotted this like a wood panel grain microwave, and I'm kind of obsessed with it. It would definitely fit in with my 70s kitchen for sure. But I find older microwaves especially are a lot bigger, so it would take up a lot of space, and I never use a microwave, so like I don't even have one in my kitchen because I never use it. So I did leave it there, but if I was going to get a microwave, that one would fit. I bet that's from the 90s, that crock pot. It's weird seeing two of those electric woks in like the same color at the same store. So after that is like the book section, which I usually look in the cookbook section, and also like the craft and like home decor section, I guess, just for some vintage ones. It's funny, I have one of these books, I think actually this exact same one, but it's part of a set. I just have the one book though. And then this is generally when I stop filming, because then the next thing I look at is usually media. Sometimes I film there, but I feel like for the most part I don't. So it's just like easier for me to look through if I'm not filming it. And I always feel like people don't care that much. But today I thought I would film. I love that movie, The Sting. It's from the 70s. We actually got to see it in theater. But I found some really cute records. So I found Bedknobs and Broomsticks, which I love that movie so much. After I seen that, I was like, oh, I should watch that. I found this Wizard of Oz one. The Wizard of Oz is my favorite movie. And I found the Alice in Wonderland one. So I was thinking about getting all of them, but I did end up leaving them all there. I did see a bunch of VHS that are really great. That's Entertainment. I love that so much. It's like a whole set, but I already have it. So I feel like for the most part, I don't see movies that I don't already have that often. Like I already have The Anchors Away, which is also another great movie. I have The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly as well. But I think I did end up finding a few that I don't already have. I saw these couple Batman. I actually think the two first Batman ones are the best, but I did like Jim Carrey's portrayal of the Riddler in that one. I love watching those movies during like October for Halloween. The Great Race is also an amazing movie, but I have that as well. I feel like I did find a couple though on this day. Maybe it was at a different thrift store. No, I did get this one, which I don't think I've seen before. And then I do always look at the board games. I love the game Payday, but we already have it. I do look at the board games mostly for reselling purposes, but we do have a huge collection of board games, but I feel like we're kind of at the maximum amount. This aggravation game caught my eye, but then once I pulled it out and looked at it, I think this is really just like the game, I think it's called Sorry, and then I think there's another, it's called Trouble, I think, but it's basically the same game, and that looks exactly the same as well. So I think we already have one or the other versions of that, so I ended up just leaving it there. You know, this is a very unpopular opinion, but I hate the show Friends. I feel like it's this really beloved show of the 90s. People often say, oh, this is the best show of the 90s. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Have you seen any other shows in the 90s? Because that is nowhere even close to being the best. I get how it might be someone's favorite show, but like just because it's your favorite doesn't mean it's the best objectively. So that's my unpopular opinion. I love the game Monopoly, so when I saw this Catopoly, I was very tempted to get it. The only reason I didn't is because we already have like 5 or 6 versions of Monopoly, but I did spot Girl Talk. I think this was 1988, and I was like, you know what? I should take a minute and look this up on eBay just to see what this goes for. I think on average it goes for around $60. So, and then I never filmed this either, but to get to the linens, you have to walk by the toys. And on our way there, I usually take a quick glance, and I saw this pink suitcase, and I actually had this when I was a kid, like really little kid, and I would keep all of like my Barbie clothes and accessories in it, and I haven't like thought about it or seen it, I don't think, ever thrifting. So as soon as I saw it, I was instantly like taken back to like being really small child. And I instantly remembered like exactly how it felt to open and close it. It's very weird, but I usually never film this part either, but the last thing I usually look at before leaving the store is the linens. I just like to take a quick look over there because you just never know. Usually look at like curtains, and then sheets, usually sheets to resell, but curtains, I've been on the hunt for like very specific vintage curtains, and I just keep hoping that I'll find them in a thrift store because they're so expensive on eBay. Like by the time I pay the exchange and shipping, it's like we're looking at like, I don't know, probably more than $500, like just for one room of curtains. So anyway, this is usually what I do when I'm over here, and I'm usually like, I'm stopped filming by this point, so I just never show it, but I just thought I would show it today. I didn't really see a whole lot. I don't think I ended up getting anything. I'm mainly looking for specific things when I go there, so mostly it doesn't happen. I used to look for aprons too, but I have like enough already, so I typically don't look. Maybe I'll give it like a quick glance, but even this section was pretty empty. Like, and I've never seen this section even look even remotely empty. Usually it's so full that this is why I never film over there, because I need both hands to be like pushing the hangers back with one hand while I flip through with the other. So I don't know what's going on, but I've never seen the thrift store is this empty. So this curtain is actually sort of similar to what I'm looking for. Not exactly, but like it would do, I guess, but they only had one panel, so that's not really good to me. So I need like multiple panels, like probably at least 4 or maybe 5 for the living room window. So I'm always in that situation. I probably will just end up having to buy them from eBay, but I just can't justify spending $500 on curtains or more when we need like actual windows replaced in our home. So, in the years that I'm waiting to do that, maybe I will stumble across them. I did really like this blue curtain. It's very like 80s, is what it reminds me of. All right, so real quick, I'll just recap everything that I got. So we got the quiche plate. It's actually $3.49. I think I said $3.99 earlier. And I got this little tray, which I'm really happy with. Even though it's made of plastic, it's like the closest thing to what I've been looking for that I've seen. So it wasn't very expensive. So I've already like set it up how I want to, and I am really liking it a lot. So then I did also get this VHS. It's a Mad World. I actually just recorded this from TCM fairly recently, but it's like a double VHS. And then I did get the Gene Kelly movie. I read the back, and I definitely don't think I've seen this one before, but I love Gene Kelly, so I was happy to find that. And then I did find some books that I didn't show, but I found some like home books, which are from Better Homes and Gardens, which I love Better Homes and Gardens. It's the cookbooks I collect, and then kind of the craft books and I guess like home decor kind of things. So they both look the 3 of them looked really interesting. I think they're all from the 1970s, so it's right up my alley. I specifically really love this family room projects book. It's so great. I could look at it for hours. It's like so my style. Then we have this bath and bedroom projects, which is also really great. And then I got this Gifts to Make Yourself by Better Homes and Gardens. I was a little on the fence about getting this one, but I did notice that they have recipes in here as well, and that just kind of sealed the deal for me. But they do have, it's interesting to look at books like this because society has changed so much that I feel like it was so common just to like make things and give as gifts in the past, but it's like not very common at all now. And people would almost like look down on it. It's weird. And then I did notice they had a whole like Christmas section, so that also helped to seal the deal for me. I was actually thinking about making a lot of things this Christmas. I thought it's something I just want to do, but then I thought maybe I should film some of it. It might be interesting content. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, that was all that I got on this trip. So it wasn't completely disappointing, but I did feel slightly disappointed while I was in there thinking, wow, I waited like 2.5 months to come thrifting and shelves are empty, but oh well, that's life, I guess. That was definitely a theme that kind of continued throughout the whole week that we were thrifting, so we ended up just not going a few of the days that we had planned because I think mainly because we have to drive so far to even get to the thrift store that it takes up like our whole day basically. So I just was like, I think I'd rather just stay home. So that's where we're at now. But I'm very, very happy that yard sale season is upon us. So probably within the next like couple of weeks, they'll probably start. I know there's like one the first weekend of June. It's a pretty big one too. So I'm very excited about that. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, if you're still watching here at the very end, and I will see you again very soon.